let's make some mayo. I've seen a ton of videos online. They all tell you how to make mayo, and they all have way too many steps. Separate the yolk, don't use the whole egg, this, that, the other. The only thing I found that might be kind of useful is room temperature eggs. Does it actually matter? Who knows? Anyways, foolproof method, tastes delicious. 3 ingredients: eggs, salt, oil, vegetable oil. The only tool that you absolutely need is an immersion blender. You can pick one of these up. It's also handy for a lot of other kitchen needs, which we'll eventually get into. Anyways, let's get this game on. We'll start with 3 eggs. I like to put them in the cup that I'm using, and I break them one at a time just to make sure I don't get shells in it, which I always do. Foolproof trick to get shells out of your eggs, if you do get one in there, is to dip your little finger in some water and then touch the shell and it pulls right out. So we're gonna start with 3 eggs. You could easily do it with 2 eggs. Like I said, I sometimes get shells. Which is why I use the other container before I dump it all in one. Oh, see, look, there's a giant shell. All right. So all the recipes I found call for 1 cup of oil. They say it should be a pretty basic oil, like a vegetable oil of some sort, something that doesn't have a lot of flavor. You can change that up if you want. However, recently I looked up how to make a healthier mayo, and they suggested maybe using flaxseed oil, which I went out and bought. I don't know if you've ever had it, but it's pretty terrible. So I made some mayo with the flaxseed oil thinking I was gonna be healthy, and that was a huge mistake. That was disgusting, and that's me being nice about it. So down the drain. Anyways, you can't make mayo healthy and taste good. Moving on. Our vegetable oil. Calls for a cup. We'll put about a cup in there. We'll use the same container that we use to dump our eggs in. A lot of the other methods that I saw, they tell you that your immersion blender may have came with a cup that's a certain size, and that's what you're gonna need to be able to make it all blend together, because it has to be the same shape as the head and all this other. It doesn't matter. This way just doesn't matter. So I use eggs, oil, and a little bit of salt. Just be careful how much salt you put in. I don't really measure anything. That's about enough. I'd say maybe half a teaspoon, maybe. So once you have all your stuff in there, you're gonna stick your immersion blender in, let it sit at the bottom, and blend. All right, you'll see it's still pretty milky and it hasn't really come together. Once in a while when I do this, it does come together a little bit more and it is a bit thicker, like it should kind of be. But this is where a couple of the other tricks, after I did this for the first time and it didn't work, I found come in helpful. Click.
Go.
The trick to turning this liquidy mess into delicious mayo is the microwave. "30 seconds. And then we'll probably do 30 more. And maybe after that, 30 more. But what we do is we mix it up a little bit after each time. The eggs kind of cook, which also I feel kind of makes it so that way you're not so afraid of using the raw eggs in your mayo, and gives the shelf life a little bit longer for a homemade mayo. And cut. All right, 30 seconds out of the microwave. You can see it really didn't do too much, but the concoction is getting pretty warm. All right, so we stirred the mayo after 30 seconds. It's still pretty watery, as you can see. So we're gonna stick it back in for another 30 seconds. All right, cut.
That's what she said.
All right, our second 30 seconds is up. See, it's a little bit thicker now, definitely around the edges. I'll give it another little stir here, just to kind of incorporate it all. And we're gonna stick it back in probably one more time, and that should bring it to the right temperature. All right, so this is our third round of 30 seconds is up. Here, you can definitely see now where the egg is starting to cook. So we want to give that a good stir. I think we'll, oh yeah, that's looking good. Let's give it a blend and see how it goes. Still not quite where we want it to be, so we're gonna go for another 30 seconds. All right, we blended to another 30 seconds. We're gonna see it's still getting thicker, which is beautiful. Give it a stir. Break away all the bits from the edge of the container, because when you're cooking in the microwave, for whatever reason, it just, all the outside bits cook so much quicker than the middle, which is why we want to keep stirring. But you can see how thick, like it's cooking, it's getting thick, but it's still, other than the chunks in there, which we'll use the immersion blender and blend out, but it's creamy. It's still super creamy. Oh, an egg. Okay, so we did one last blend on it. You can see this was what was left on the spatula. Still a little grainy, you would say, from the cooked egg. So I did one final blend, and you can see now how creamy and fluffy and thick and wonderful that really is. So now all you have to do is transfer it to a container. We always just use one of these little guys. The nice lid, airtight, or as airtight as a Tupperware can be, and scoop it in, stick it in the refrigerator, let it cool, and make whatever you want to make with it. We'll be making egg salad because they got a request for that. And there you have it. It's mayo.